Hello and welcome back to another Android Material UI challenge. My name is Muhindo Mbarak, and in today's video we are going to do a form like this one. It will be a login form whereby we'll have this information, the title and a short description, and then a place where a user can put their email and the password, and they choose whether they should be remembered by this application, and a login button. For example, a user can simply enter here his email. For example, this is my email, and once they enter the email, they'll be able to put the password, and after putting the password, they'll be able to click on login, or they can select to be remembered or not. And if they click on login and the email is not valid, the form will notify the user that they entered a wrong email. And if they enter correct email, for example like this, and still they verify, some people, they just put at and then they think the email is correct, but still this email is not correct until they put, for example, .com, and then they click on login, and then they click on login, and then we'll be able to allow these users to proceed, just like the way we can see here. The user has successfully logged in, and in case they enter wrong password, the form will not allow them. For example, enter like one letter only, the form will not allow them because they entered the wrong password, and will be able to display the warning or the error just using a form itself, like the way you can see here. So that's what you're going to do in this video. I hope you're excited to do this with me. If you are, then let's do it. So in the very first place, we are going to resume from the previous video, from the previous project that we've been working with. If this is your very first time to follow this series of Android Material UI that I've been making, I really recommend you to look at the previous videos that I've been making before, and then try to follow along. And if you don't want to watch the previous videos, where I've put the link in the description of this video, if you don't want to watch all those videos, still you can start from here, no problem. And if you want to start from here, there is just one thing that you have to do. There are values that we set, for example, the colors, the styles, those things that we set for your application to look like ours. You have to copy them and put them in your project. The link to these values, the coloring, the dimensions, and the string that you're going to use in this project, if you want them, you can find the link in the description. You just copy those values and paste them in your project, then you'll be able to start with us. Otherwise, if you don't do that, then it will be a little bit complicated for you. It will be a little bit hard to set these colors by yourself, and yet you have already do it. So I recommend you to copy these colors, these values, and include them in your project. That is the colors, the dimensions, the strings, and the styles. Just copy them. I've already put the link in the description, and include them in your project, and then your project will look exactly like ours. But I really recommend you to watch the previous videos if you didn't watch them, and also the playlist for the previous videos I've also put in the description. With that much said, let's get started. Okay, so this is another series of forms. Okay, it's another series, it's another section of forms. So we're going to create a separate section of forms. You know how we've been doing it. We have been creating different sections. This is our project. We started dealing with cards, and then buttons, then cards. So we are beginning today another section of forms. So I'm going to put here I'm going to create a separate activity for the list of forms, and the button to that activity of list of forms, I'll put it here in front. So that's what we're going to do. So let me create a separate activity where I will put what? We'll put the forms. Okay, so I'm going to simply come to our project, and then I right click on okay, so this is the activities. Okay, our activities are here, a package of activities. So I'm going to create another activity of what? Of forms. So right click on this, make sure that you click on the main activity of the main section of activity. So right click on it, and then say new, and then say package. Okay, so this one I'm going to call it form or forms, whatever you call it. You can call it form, you can call it forms. Okay, so I'm going to call it forms, maybe, because there are many. Others they use singularity, others they use the plural way. So this is the package you're going to put all our forms. So I'm going to begin with the form home or the form main activity. So I'll right click here and then say new activity. New what? New activity. Empty activity. This is going to be the main activity for the what? For the form. So it's going to be main, or it's going to be form main activity, like this, and then I say finish. Okay, so in this activity, so we're going to put the list that the user can find what? Can find other forms. Let me close everything and I'll come to this form. You can see we have activity of forms. Then I'll press Ctrl and click on this to go to the this severe activity of forms. So here I'm going to put a button that is going to take us to the, okay, before I put the button, first of all I'm going to put here a button that will be able to take us to the activity of what? Of these forms. So I'll come here to the main activity, the very main activity, and I'll click on Ctrl to go where? To go to the what? To the main activity itself, which is here, the layout of the main activity. So here I'm going to put another button of what? Of forms. So I'll just simply come here and duplicate this. Okay, Ctrl D, and then I'm going to call this one forms. And then here on click, I'm going to click to create a method called open what? Open forms. Okay, then I'll press Alt and Enter to create this method. Alt and Enter, create method in the main activity, which is here. So here I'm going just to copy this intent and paste it in here, main activity. I'm going to paste it here. Okay, so I want when someone click on this open activity, should open this activity of forms main activity. So I'm going to simply put here form main activity, like that. So if someone clicks on this button in the main activity, will be taken to the main menu of what? Of forms, this one. So I'll press Ctrl to navigate to that one, and then here it is. Okay, and press Ctrl to create now our button for the what? For the form that we're going to make. Okay, so the form that we're going to make today is going to be a login form. Okay, login form. Okay, so I'm going just simply come here, right click, and then say a new. I'm going to call it here. So I'll make sure that I click on the form package, right? I make sure that I click on the form package. So right click on it and say new, and then come to main activity. Empty activity, and I'm going to call it what? Empty activity. I'm going to select empty activity. So instead of putting main activity, I'm going to put form login. Form login. Okay, so why do I begin that form? Because I want my project to be what? To be organized. So that is form login, means the form login activity. Then I say finish. So there we are, and our project has finished syncing. So I can close others. Just simply right click and say close others, because I want to have a few tabs open so that I shouldn't be confused, and then press Ctrl to open in the UI of that form. So here is where we're going to put a what? It's going to put our login form logic, or the front end. So I click on split here to see the code and the what? And the UI. Let me minimize here so that we can have enough space to work with. So I'm going to change this one from constraint layout to linear layout, and then I'm going to make orientation vertical. Okay, so to save your time, I've already created the code, so I'll be copying the code and I paste it here as I explain it step by step. So this is the code that we created. First of all, we already create this linear layout, which is here. You see, I've created this linear layout. I hope you can also do the same. So the second thing that we're going to do, we are going to put this blue thing that you see here, this blue section that you see, is going to be just an app bar, a material UI app bar. Okay, so I'll just copy this, or okay, I'll show you how to do it. Okay, so I'll just copy that one and I paste it, and then I close it like this. Okay, but it is simple. All what you need to do, for example, you don't need to copy it. All what you need to do is just to open your tag and then just write like this, app bar open the tag and write app bar layout like this. Then the Android Studio will suggest it for you. Just press enter, everything will be okay. Then put width match parent, and then the height you can specify like 200 dp. Then you also specify the orientation. So I'll delete this because I don't need it. Okay, so I just create this blue thing here by just simply putting up bar. So if I make it an up bar, it will be fixed there, right? And then after I put the gravity center and I put minimum height of 240, okay, 220. So that's what I've made. Simple. Okay, so after doing that, we'll proceed to this section where there is a word login, and then the description. So here will come your users, something like that, and tell them the reason why they should log in. Okay, so it is just a simple linear layout. Okay, it's a simple linear layout. I'll copy it and I'm going to explain it step by step. So we begin by putting a linear layout inside the app bar, right? Let me minimize here also so that you can see properly. I'm going to explain it step by step. Okay, so it's going to be linear layout and I'm going to explain it. Don't worry, don't worry at all. Okay, so I'll come here and paste it there. It's just a linear layout, and I press enter to close this linear layout inside the app bar. Okay, like this. So after creating the linear layout there, I'm going to explain all this. It's going to be 100. I'm going to explain it. You don't need to worry at all. Okay, so here it's going to be just a linear layout, match parent width, height, wrap content, margin left 60, margin right 60 dp, 60 dp, 60 dp, and then orientation vertical. All that's all you need. Then this is the behavior. So in case you don't want it, you can just leave it the way it is. Like you can just like as well leave it, but right now you just put 100 layout behavior, and then you put at string, and then you put scroll bar behavior like that. So after doing that, you go ahead and put our text view, which is going to have the word login. Okay, so inside this linear layout that we've just created up here, we put a text view of the word login. Okay, so it is nothing but a text view which is having width of wrap content and height of wrap content and text of login, and then also text appearance of at string appearance headline. Okay, this is just to make it bold, right? To make it bold. Remember, we already defined this layout. Okay, we already defined this layout. I mean this style. Okay, so just put at style, text appearance, app compat, headline. So if you press Ctrl and click on it, it will take you where we define it. And that's why I say that you should copy the resources and put these ones so that you should not repeat yourself all the time. Okay, so this is the place where we defined it. So you need these values. Copy those values and include them in your project. Okay, so that you should not repeat yourself all the time. Then we have the color, which is white, and then the style, which is bold. Okay, we proceed. So after putting that, you have to put that description. So it is just a text view. I'll also copy it and then paste it here after the word login. So that's it. So here the only difference is the style is subheading. So that's all you need, and then you'll have a beautiful thing like that, the beautiful layout like this. So after doing that, we are going ahead and so we have created this top part, this one. Okay, so we are going ahead and we're going to go ahead and put the the form itself. So to put the form itself, I'll go outside this app bar and then come on bottom here after the app bar. So after the app bar, I'm going to put another linear layout. Okay, I'm going to put another linear layout. So I'll just simply come here after the app bar, here between the app bar and the closing layout. I'm going to put another linear layout, and then I'll close it. Okay, so we have a linear layout of width match parent and height match parent, and gravity center horizontal. You see, the gravity is center horizontal and orientation is vertical. So after putting the linear layout, we're going to go ahead and put the progress bar. You remember when we are logging in the user, we're having a progress bar that is progressing. Okay, for example, when you're doing some process, we have to show the user there's something going on. So this is the progress bar that will be hiding or hiding when according to the process that we're showing. So I'm going to put a progress bar. It is optional, but it is better to show the user when you're trying to log them in. Okay, so this is the progress bar, which is having an ID called login progress, and then it is having a style of progress. This is just option, you can as well leave it. Okay, progress large. Remember, with these styles are the values that we talked about and already shared them in the description. And then width is wrap content and height is wrap content, and margin is having spacing large, and then it is initially hidden because when the user is not logged in, we'll hide it. So if I remove this visibility of hidden, you'll see it there. So it will display it logically when we are logging in the user, or when you're doing the process of logging in the user. For example, connecting this user, or checking the user from the database, or connecting the user from internet and see if his credential that he entered is correct. So when you're doing that logic, we have to hide the form and then display this progress bar. But for now, as initially, we will keep it visibility hidden. Okay, so after keeping it the visibility hidden, then you're going to put now the login itself. So since this login, the users may have different screen sizes, initially we're going to give a scroll, we're going to give it a scroll view, because some font can be too small in a way that if you keep it in a linear layout, the user will not be able to do to scroll. So I'm going to put there a scroll view. So I come here after the progress bar, I put a scroll view, and this scroll view, it's where I put the login form. Why? Because I give it an ID of login. Why? Because at time we'll need to hide this form. So to point at this form, we'll have to get an ID. So when you'll be logging the user, we'll be hiding this form using the ID. Okay, that's why I give this scroll view an ID. I give it width match parent and height match parent, and then I put a fill viewport true, and then I close it at last. Okay, so after closing it, between here, so I'm going to put the form, and this form is going to be in a relative layout. So I'll copy the relative layout opening tag and paste it here. Okay, and then after I close it, make sure that you always close. So in between here, so we're going to put the form itself. So here it is having the ID of email login form, but this is option, you can still leave it, no problem. And then we are having the padding of x large, spacing x large. Remember, these values are already provided the dimension. If you want, you can create your own, or you can manually put there your own value. Okay, so in between here, so we're going to put we're going to put the form itself. So I'll come and put a linear layout here. I'll open the tag and give it match parent and height match parent, and I make center content in parent, I make it true, and then I give it orientation vertical, and then I close this linear layout. Okay, then after closing the linear layout itself, I'll go ahead and give now this first email. Okay, so it is having the orientation vertical. Then in this linear layout, I'm going to put the email. Make sure that you close the tag that you open. So I'll come here and open this. I'm going to explain everything step by step. So if you want to put this email that can display the errors and the rest, you have to use the text input layout of of Google. So to do this, you just simply open the tag. Okay, open your tag like this and write text input. Then when you'll be finishing the word layout and press enter, Android Studio will do it for you. Okay, so me, I've already written it. So the logic is, you just write this last word. Don't write these things. Okay, don't write all these things, just write the last class. It's the one, and then the Android Studio will suggest for you the first things. Okay, so for me, I've already written them, so I'll put it there. Okay, so that one is the one that will enable us to display the errors and the descriptions. So I make sure that I close it. Then in between there is, so I'm going to put the email field. So I'll come here and put autocomplete text view. Just write autocomplete text view. The Android Studio will suggest it for you. So I'll cut it and remember it is a self-closing tag. Okay, so and paste it here. I'm going to explain every part. You see, it is having an ID of email, and then the layout of match parent, and the height of wrap content, and hint of email, and this hint is the one that describing here. So you can read all these things, marks, lines, and whatever. I don't make the video too short, but you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so here it's where we're going to have the what? We're going to have the email itself. Okay, so after doing that, I'll come and copy. So that is the email, right? So I'll go to the password. So the password is the same thing, but the only thing, I'll just copy this next thing. I don't want to repeat the same thing to save your time, and I'll explain everything. So after the input layout field here, the input layout, I'll come and put now the what next to it. I'll put it password. Remember, it is inside this linear layout. I'll paste there the what? The password. I'm going to explain everything, don't worry. So I'll put there the password. Okay, so let me explain this password thing. So we are beginning the what with the layout itself. You can pause the video and look at it. Okay, and then you're having the edit input inside, and then you're having the hint of password, and then you're having action of action. I remove this, is making it okay. And then you're having this field is not okay. That's it. So we're having IME options, action unspecified. So this one will make it sure that it is what it is a password, or you can leave it. It is just optional. You can as well leave it. And then you're having the input type as what? As password. And then you're having maximum lines as one, and then you put single line true. Okay, so after doing that, then you'll have a space of a what? Of email. Okay, I mean the space of what? Of the password to be put to put the password. And then after putting that, I'll come and put the space of remember me. So that remember me will come after the what? After the password itself. So I can collapse this. Okay, you can see here, right? You can pause the video and look at it carefully so that you should understand. Then next to it, I'll put this remember me thing. Okay, it is just an app compat checkbox. You just write this last class, and then put width wrap content and height wrap content, and then put the spacing on top as padding space middle. Okay, or you can put any kind of a dimension that you want. Okay, and then you can put the text as what? As remember me. Then you will have that remember me thing. And then lastly, we'll put our button. Copy it. I've already written it. Then after this, I'll put the what? The button here. Then we'll have our button. So this button layout, it's not the style. I've not written it, but I'm going to show you how you can write the what? The style. So we are having the button itself here, and then having the width match parent and height wrap content, margin top extra large, and then you're having this background accent. I'm going to show you how you can write the background itself. If you leave it like this, it will have like that, but I'm going to show you how I'm going to make this beautiful button like that. So you're going to have texts as login, and then the color is going to be white. So I'm going to put the background, and then I make a drawable. You see, background at drawable, and then I put the name of the drawable. Okay, so you're going to create this drawable. You're going to create this drawable, and it's the one that is going to define the rules that the button should look like this. So you can first write the drawable, or you first write the name of the drawable and then you create it. So I'll press, may have written the name first, so I'm going to just create it, right? You can give it any name. Remember, this is just your own definition. So I'm going to press Alt and Enter, so I can create this drawable. So I say create drawable, and I say OK. So in this drawable, so I'm going to define the rules of the what? Of the button. So I've already created, so let me just copy it and then come and explain it. So in this drawable, I'm going to put these lines. They're a little bit complicated, but I'm going to explain them, right? They're a little bit complicated. Most of the time we even generate them. Okay, so how am I going to explain it now? It's just going to be XML with version this, that is always auto suggested, and then it is having a tag of select. We are having a tag of select outside, and then we're having an item, so we give an item inside, right? An item, and then we give an attribute. You just write that item and then you give an attribute. You say state pressed true. So this state is the one that will be displayed when you're doing what? When the user presses. So if you want to show the different colors when the user presses this button, you can define these colors in this state. Okay, so you put state pressed, then you put true, and then you put layer list like this tag, open and close it, layer list, and then you give an item, then you say 100 bottom, then you give 4 dp, and then left you give 4 dp. This is the rounding that you're going to do it, and that's going to make it rounded like this. And then you give 100 right, 4 dp, and 100 top like this. Okay, that's an item. Then you give inside a shape, just give inside shape tag and make it a rectangle. If you want to make it circle, you just put like this. Okay, you have line, circle, oval, like that. So we make this one a rectangle, and then we give corners, how the corners should look like. So let me move here so that you can see clearly. So the corners are having bottom radius of 30, so you can define your own rules here. For example, you want to design your own thing. For example, you make it 50, it will look its own way when the user presses it. Bottom radius of 30, bottom left like that, then radius, the whole radius is 60, but this one will be displayed when the user is done what? When the user presses the button. That's why you don't see the changes directly. So you look at these attributes and do the same. You can pause the video and look at and do the same. Then you give 100 color when the user presses it. You can define here your own colors, and then you give another padding and also the width. Okay, so these are going to be the rules in a state where the user clicks on the button, or when the user opens the button, clicks on the button here. Okay, then you define another state when the user focuses on this button. So these are the states. It's just the same attributes, but we just change, but here they're just exactly the same. So you can pause the video and look at them. Okay, then after we have lastly the last state, so the default state before the user does what? Before the user clicks on a button. So that's the state, you see, the one that will be even seeing in case you change something. So by default the state will be like this. So look at them, you can pause the video and read them. So this is the layout. It is nothing but a what? But a layout that is going to define the rules of a button. So that's how you can design your own buttons. For example, if I make, for example, radius here like 80, you can see that it's going to change according to what I've put here. So you can pause the video and look at these and make sure your button is looking like that. So after doing that layout, let me show it is a layout. So if I click here and then I click on this wheel to take me to the layout, you see it is just a layout drawable. Then after doing that, I'm going to close it and then go back to our button. So you can see our button is going to change, the error will go, and then the button will look like this. Okay, so for now it may not react directly, but when we run the application, it will do what? It will display. Okay, so and another thing, it will display when you're clicking on a button, then the color will have to change to what? To the accent color. So you can see that's how we create this kind of layout. So far, before we put the logic, let us first run the application and you see how it's going to look like. Then after we'll go ahead and put the logic, like in case the user enters the email that is wrong, we should verify it. So I'll run the application. So you click on forms. On the forms, you can see on forms I've not put the login form, right? I've not put the button that can take us to login form. So let's go ahead and put this login form, the button for login form on this form main activity. So we'll go to our project and go to form main, and then we click on control, and then here we're going to put a button that will take us to what? The form main activity. So let me change this one to linear layout and make it to orientation vertical. I already have buttons of this kind, so all I just need to go and copy some of them. Let me look at the layout that I have a button like this. I just come and copy a button like this, just a nothing but a button. So I'll come and put it here, one of the button like that one. So it won't be open cards, but it will be maybe open what? Oh, it's going to be login activity. Login. Okay, let me just read login activity, something like that. So if you click on it, you should open the login activity. So I'll press Alt and Enter so I can create that method. So I click on create method. So here I'm going to put intent. I'm going to call it I equals new intent, and I'm going to pass context, which is this, and then the activity that I want to open, which is form login activity dot class, and then I start the intent, so it will be start activity, and I pass the I. So I run it. It's now okay, right? Let's see the output. So there we go. So I can click on forms, and then we'll see it shouldn't be cards, it should be login form. Shouldn't be cards, but it should be login forms. Let me go and see. For main should be cards, the word should be login form, but no worry, we'll see it in the next version how it has come. So if I click there, we should have our what? Our login form. You see, exactly how we expected, exactly as how we expected. Only this email is not looking exactly as how we need, but you can see that's what I was expecting. So you can put here our username, and then the email, I don't know what's wrong with it, we'll fix it, and then the password there. So if you click on login, you can see, and I don't know why the button is not working, but we're going to fix it also. So, and we can also work on the what? On the logic of the login. So in case the email is not correct, we should be able to do what? To display the error that the email was not correct. So let's go and do that right now. But the UI is already displaying as how we expected. So let's go and put the logic of the email and the password verification. So here we are. So I'll go back to the activity itself, not main activity. It is what? It is form login activity. So you remember our email was what? Was being collapsed previously. If you want to solve that issue, remove auto what? It has autocomplete and put edit text. And if you want to have a complete white background, like the one I showed you in the first video, you have to put the background of Android color white. And also here on the autocomplete text, then you have complete white backgrounds on your layout, so that you can have something that is completely white in the background. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the logic of checking the email if it's correct or not. So to that, I'll just do one thing, then you'll do the rest for yourself. Me, I will show you how you can verify if the email is valid or not, and for the password you can do the logic by yourself. So I'll go here in the login form. I'm going to create a method that will be working on the what? On initializing everything here. So I'm going to create here a method. I'm going to call it maybe my init, my initializer, or whatever. Or I can call it bind views. Okay, and I'll press Alt and Enter to create it. So that's a method, and then I'm going to create the object of this email. So it's going to be it's not going to be autocomplete. Where is it? This one, right? Autocomplete view is not going to be that. I'm going to just put no, I'm in the wrong thing, sorry. So I have to come here, press Alt and Control Alt and tab to switch. So it's going to be here, edit view. It's going to be an object of edit view. I'm going to call it what? Email underscore view. Okay, and then I will initialize it here in the bind view by simply saying is equal to find view by id r.id dot that, and then I'll come and make sure this is having the ID of email view. So for you, will do the logic of this. Remember me and the password verification. Me, I'm going to just show you the logic of login. Of the email. So we'll go ahead and create the object for this sign in button. Okay, I'm just going to call it sign in button, like that, simple. And then I'll come here. It is a what? It is a button. So I'll come here and create a button like this, and then I initialize it. Button is equal to find view by id r is equal to button, and then I'll click. Now I'll set a click listener on this button. Okay, set on click listener. It's going to be new on click listener, and then I'm going to create a method called validate form, or validate form, and it's going to be I'm going to create it by simply pressing alt and enter. Then I'll create the method. Just create the method here like this, and then here so do the validation. Okay, so when someone clicks on that, so when to validate a form, first of all I will check if this email view is empty. So I just say if dot get text dot to string is empty, and I'll just simply say now I need to display here an error. So to display an error, you just simply do like this, dot set error, dot error like this, dot set error. Okay, and then you put here what you want to display as error. Okay, you can say email cannot be empty. Okay, and then I return here, right? Return, so that they should not be able to proceed. So else I'll do it, I'll remove the error. Okay, let's remove error. How do you remove error? Error that set error, I make it null, right? I think that's how you say remove the error. So the error will be good in case that is successfully done. So let us do that first. And see everything is okay. So I'll just simply update the project. So that's our project, and then we'll go ahead and click on forms, and then click on login form, and then we try to click on login. You can see the error is there, but it's not showing. It will be shown only when you click on it. You see the error is there. Email cannot be empty. So if we enter something and again click on login, you see the error is gone. Okay, now let us validate that if the email is a valid email or not, because you see here I can see it is going to successful. Let us now validate the email is valid or not. So after making sure that the user has passed this level of not empty email, I'll go again and check another level if the email is valid or not by simply putting if. So Android has its own utilities that can help you to validate if an email is valid or not. You can get it by just simply putting android.util.pattern. Then you select here a pattern that you want. It can be an email address, it can be a website, it can be a URL. Let me show you what I mean. You can validate a phone number if the phone number is correct or not, you see, by just putting phone, and then you can put the match and the rest. But for me, I want the email. You can validate the email, phone. You can validate a website if the website is correct or not. You can validate an IP address. For us, we're interested in what? In validating the email. So I put android.ut.email in capital letters and then say .match. So here we put the email that we want to do to validate. For example, I can just create this email as a string here. Okay, and this email is going to be what we get in this email text view. So it's going to be email text view dot get text to string, and then after we validate it here .match. You see this one. So if it is really an correct email, this method .matches, if it will return true. If it's not correct, it will return what? It will return false. So I'll just put here like if it is not correct, then I'll go ahead and say I'll set an error, right? I'll set an error that invalid email address, and then I also return at that point, else I'll remove the error. Okay, so if the user passes all these levels, I'll have to log in the user, and to log in the user, of course, you can simply hide this form using the other logic that I told you. Let me show it to you. So this is the form, and this is the form where it is located. The whole form is within the scroll, and then the progress bar is here. So I'm going to hide this form and display the progress. Okay, so to do that, I'll just simply let me make here just a simple toast, and then say please wait. Okay, so after verifying the user that is okay, then what I'm going to do, I'm going to hide the form. Okay, so this form is an object of scroll view, so I'm just going to create an object of scroll view. It's called login form, and make sure I initialize it. Then I'll come also and create an object of login progress, and I initialize it. But remember, this login progress is just a progress bar object like this. Okay, so to show that the user is successful, I'll have to hide this form. So to hide it, you just simply set visibility, and then you put view, just put gone. It will put for you the word view.gone. Okay, view.gone. So I'll hide the form and then display the display the progress. So I'll put login progress to set visibility, view visible like this, and then this one will have the toast of login long. So that's it. Let's do this. Let's run it and we see what we've come up with. So that's what we've come up with. So if I click on forms, and I click on login form, and I click on this, you see there's an error which is email. So if I want to focus, if there's an error, I can as well autofocus. Okay, to autofocus. Okay, so to autofocus, just simply do like this, .request focus like that, because it is just displaying an error, and it does not, it shows an error, it does not request the focus. We have to request the focus and show where the problem is. Okay, so let us run it again. So I simply click on forms, and then click on login form, and you see if I click here, it automatically focuses and show the error. Okay, so email cannot be empty, so let's enter just something which is not empty, and then click on login again. You see invalid what? Invalid email. Why? Because we use the other pattern of Android. Even if you put just a single @ and then you click on login, still it is invalid. Just put something and then still it is invalid. Just put space and then put .com, still it is invalid, and email cannot have space. So just put like this, and then I hide the keyboard and then click on login. So I should expect, we should expect this field to be hidden and show the progress bar. You see, please wait as it is logging in. So you can go ahead and do for the remaining part, and that's how you can create such a beautiful form that can give an impression to your users when they are logging in, when they are creating their account. So thank you for watching up this point. Don't just watch, but watch as you practice. Let us meet in the next video where we are going to look at more wonderful forms of Material UI. Remember to subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video, and thank you. See you there.